and try to apply them here shortly. The first one is, well, I remember being about 5 years old. My dad left when I was 2. And so like, oh man, that's a terrible story. But my dad left when I was 2, and for some reason, I was about kindergarten or so, my mom said, your dad's coming for Christmas to get you. Oh no, I was happy. I was like, what? I mean, I didn't know what they were going through and stuff, and so I was like, it's my dad. This is awesome. And so he took my sister and I, he took us to his house, and I'll never forget the toy he gave me. You can remember this, but it was like one of them STP motorcycles. You stuck it on the ramp, and then you like blew it up, and then you flip the switch and take off down the basement or wherever I was going. Remember those?
Oh yeah.
Some of you did. Back in the day.
Hot Wheels were better.
Back before there was Xbox 360. When we played with it. So, but I'll never forget the gift. I'll never forget that gift. It just sticks in my mind. It was blue and red and white, like Captain America, and I loved it. And really appreciated that time in my life. A great memory. Then you mature, though. And you become a teenager. The other day I was at Penn State Academy, and I looked on the stage, and I saw the look. A teenage boy and a teenage girl. Parents, you know what that look is. It was the look of love. Oh, did they have the look of love going on? Penn State, you're not allowed to kiss, but they were at least joined at the hips. Okay? That's right, there was no sex, and you could just see it. It was like spewing from them. Like they just loved each other so much. And it was kind of like, I was like, I remember being like that at one point and having my first, going out the first time with my mom to buy my girlfriend that first Christmas gift. Oh man, you looked high and low. What am I going to get? It's got to be the perfect thing. It's got to be absolutely perfect. She's got to love it. She'll love me more. And she's worth it. And you have about $5. Right? $5 you don't have a lot of money. And so, I'll never forget, and you might remember this stuff, I bought her perfume. It was in a pink box, and it had a white bottle and a little black exclamation point on it, called exclamation. Do they still make that stuff? Yeah. They do? It was like a Kmart, Walmart thing or something. And a little teeny bottle, and I gave it to her, and she loved it so much. Oh, it was so great. What a memorable Christmas. It was awesome. Remember those days? Hopefully you do. Good memories.
What's that?
And the last story. As now I'm older and have kids, used to play a game with them, in which I'd take them and, well, hurl them into the air like a rocket. Okay? You grab them and you take them and you throw them up as high as you can.
That's true.
And they go. And then you catch them, right? They're like, and they giggle and they laugh, they're real small. But then as they get older, what do they say?
Put me down.
You come back down and what do they say?
More again.
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. And you take them and swing them and throw them on the bed. Do it again. Do it again. Remember that? Well, if not, you're going to do it. And your kids say, oh, do it again. Pretty soon your arms are too tired and your back hurts and like, I can't do it again. But they could keep doing it over and over and over again and never get tired of it. Never get tired. Now these stories lead to a point. And the point is found in our scripture this morning. We're going to turn to the saddest book in the entire Bible. Okay? The most depressing, saddest, unhopeful, at times, book I've ever read in the Bible. At least what I think is the most sad book.
Jeremiah.
Because when
What'd you say?
reality, Christmas season, memories, some are really good and some are not so good. Right? We say maybe wish you a Merry Christmas, and it's just a wish. Right? You wish. I'm the chaplain at KTSY, and it's amazing, I shouldn't say amazing, I'm just overwhelmed at times of how many people are actually really hurting and have no hope. No hope. I talked with a grandmother who the government stopped giving her money. She was trying to take care of her grandkids. Parents had left the kids. It was just her and them. She has no money for heat. She doesn't know what she's going to do. And she's trying to find hope and encouragement at a time when we say, wish you Merry Christmas, have a Happy New Year. How's she going to find that? And so we look, realizing in the book of Lamentations that, well, there's not a lot of hope here at the time. Not a lot of hope at all. So you can go ahead and put the first verse up there. Yeah. And so he says, this I recall to my mind, therefore have I hope. Right? Have I hope. So, no, go back. Just leaving the one up there. Go back one. All right, there we go. So we're going to stay and think about this for a second. At least for these people at this time, they were in fat trouble. They'd done a lot of things wrong. They had disobeyed God completely, entirely, all of the time. And he finally got fed up with it. And, well, they were in trouble. And they were in prison, and they had no hope. And all the verses before this are very dismal. Nothing is going to go right. You know someone like that who says that? I mean, everything's bad. It's going to be bad, and it's going to be worse, and it's only going to get worse. Doom and gloom. And that's at least what the author was writing earlier. And then he stops. And our church really stops. He's just like negative, 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 and then he stops. And he says this. Then I recalled, no, back, stay there. I'll tell you, go ahead. There we go. This I recall to my mind, therefore have I hope. And I'm like, what do you recall to your mind? What do you bring to your memory? Because, well, first of all, it all starts in your mind. All of your thoughts, everything you do, how you feel, well, it starts right here. Right? It starts right there. And so he brings back something. A good memory. Something that happened. Well, he says, I have hope. And I guess the point, what I'd love for you to have today is more hope than you had yesterday. Or more hope than you had this morning in your life. No matter where you're at with Christmas or this time of the year, no matter what your finances are, if you can't afford toys or you can't afford toys for your kid or you don't have enough to make ends meet, that you truly find hope where it can be found, alive and inside of you. So, now we'll go to the next verse. All right, we're going to stop there just for a little bit. All right? It is of Jehovah's loving kindness, that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. Okay? Because of his loving kindnesses. All right? So that means there's more than one. All right? There's more than one. That we're not consumed because of his compassions, they fail not. Now it's interesting, as I looked at these and I'm digging, I'm like, I need something out of here. God said, oh, you're going to get something out of here. Sometimes I get in a habit of like wanting to preach a message or tell something and then it didn't apply to me. And he's like, I was stuck for a little bit. I was like, this has got to apply. His compassion and his loving kindness is the way they really use it. It's kind of like, parents, if you had your children, some of you haven't had that yet, but some of you will. When you have that baby and it comes out of the mother's womb, and you take that baby and you give it to mom, and mom has that look on her face, and she takes that baby and she begins to nurse it and nurture it. There's nothing more powerful, at least in my life. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And that's what loving kindnesses are. It's more of a nurturing, compassionate word. Nurturing word. Also, it's used in the context of the teenagers. A boy and a girl, madly in love. A young man and his fair maiden, who would love and nurture and lock hips, however it works out, wherever you're at. No, not locking hips. We're family friendly. Family friendly. Right? So, anyway. But that's the kind of compassion. That's the kind of love. And it's interesting, there's more than one, and they can't fail. There's more than one, and they can't fail. Kindness. Now, it's interesting to bring that up in the midst of, wow, God's really punishing me right now. Because that's what the author was saying. He's really got his hand on us. We are hurting. We're messed up. We've done everything wrong. And he is on us. It's come from him, and this stinks. Yeah, I'm going to have hope. It reminds me of my kids, I guess, again. Every once in a while, I'd have to talk to them, or say discipline them. Okay? I remember two of them, when they were younger, they used to fight a lot. And I said, all right, here's what we're going to do. Now, my parents, they would have like went, whoosh, whoosh, knock it off, I'll give you something to cry about, whack, 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 and that kind of stuff. That's where I grew up. And I was like, I'm going to do something completely different. And so I would have what was called the talk with my kids. And they hated the talk. They hated the talk. I didn't have to raise my hand. So, all right, we're going to have the talk. And usually they'd be crying. They'd be crying and repentant or whatever it is. By the end of the talk, they didn't want to have the talk. They'd say, we'd rather get a spanking, don't talk to us. They hated the talk. Times when I would have to spank them and would have to discipline them, as God was doing to people in the Bible at this time, I would say, you know, we've talked about this before, and, well, it's time that I'm going to have to spank you about this. And then the tears, no, I don't want to spank you, I don't want to.
Yeah.
And I say, so turn over, or sit on my lap, however it worked. And usually once, maybe twice, I don't know if it was any more than that, once or twice, and it just good whack. And I'd say those words, you know, this really hurts me to do this to you.
Yeah, right.
20 minutes ago, I want to just spank him, but it's like, this really hurts for me to do this to you right now, but it's something that has to be done because you disobeyed me. And so, but then right after that, they'd give me a hug.